All right, we're live. Hey everyone, thanks for coming and spending Monday night with us. Today we'll be drawing Berzerk with an S. In the description, I wrote it with a Z for Americans, right? Yeah, so apologies for that. I signed on here and the first comment I saw was that I spelled it wrong. I thought, oh, yeah, I can't spell sometimes. So,
microphone.
There you go. Got it?
Yeah,
all right. So I'm going to go ahead and...
And I've been told to stop shouting, which Dave calls it shouting. I call it projection.
I love her. She shouts.
I project.
She shouts. Okay.
I project.
Oh, by the way, Henry Jeremick, who apparently spent the day shoveling snow. So, hopefully you can relax right now. But this is my layout. Let me move this. My camera is so touchy. Anyway, there you go. There's my layout. So I'm going to move this back, hopefully without breaking it. Okay, I'm starting. Here we go. So this layout is very much based on the big, heavy sword. And I'm going to be doing his original costume, not the armor. As much as I love the armor, I just did Drist, which is kind of a little similar that way. So let me Drist. So I'm sure that pretty much everyone here is very familiar with Berzerk, but Berzerk, you don't read a lot of manga. But Berzerk is a character. Berzerk is a book, and Guts is the character we're drawing right now, created by Kentaro Miura in 1988. I think was the first appearance. I think he created it actually years before that. He was working on another manga for an older artist when he created the character, and it has sold 50 million copies worldwide. One of the biggest selling manga of all time. It's had movie adaptations and TV shows dating all the way back to the 90s. This has been around for a long time, and there are multiple volumes.
Are you doing it manga style or your style?
I'm doing it my style because
this is like we had this question last week about,
yes,
can you draw a manga character your way?
And I said I would give it a try, but the consensus was that you guys want to see me do it my way. So I'll do my version. Big sword.
You really need to dust that shelf.
I know, it's just been sitting there. I got a new shelf, and yeah, it's just been sitting. It was upstairs with all the boots on it, and we brought it down. It was heavy, and so
I did not carry it. We enlisted teenage boys. Not our teenage boy, because he broke his wrist, but he's got enough friends. I noticed you turned my mic way down too.
I did.
It's like half the volume. Can anybody even hear me? Can anybody hear me?
If it's a problem, we can turn it up. It's just as it has been. It's been loud. You just speak louder than and part of the problem is I don't project when I speak. I'm a very quiet speaker, and I can't help it. So that doesn't help.
Blame Meredith. Just blame Canada. Gabriel Philippe said Miura, is that right? Sadly died last year, but his legacy lives on.
Yes, yeah, he passed away last year, young.
So our moderator extraordinaire, Eric, has pinned once again the link at the top of the chat to Dave's Kickstarter, our Kickstarter for Monday Night Draw. And at 8:20, we have an announcement about some new tiers. Not like crying tears, but tears like reward tiers.
Try and spell it. I'm not going to.
TIERS.
Hey, there you go.
Tiers.
Congratulations.
Versus TEARS.
I'm really...
Oh, tears.
It's a bit of a different pose for me. It's not like a really a complex pose or anything, but I want to get that sword in, but not block out the feet. So doing some redrawing. This is why you work loose. What's that?
You're blocking out the feet. You're not drawing feet.
No, I'm drawing feet. No, I don't want the sword to block the feet.
Oh, your sister's on.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Leslie.
My sister.
New tier. New. NEW.
Oh, what a mess. Really, basically everything that I'm drawing so far, I'm erasing.
Oh, Alamada Art says, hey everyone, it's my dad's birthday today, 60th. So I'm not going to draw long today. Well, happy birthday to your dad, Alan. And have a good piece of birthday cake for us. Oh, it's got good when I'm yawning already. I feel like I slept not badly last night. Devon says, I can hear you, Meredith.
Good.
You can barely hear me, though. Oh, I got some super chats that I missed because my screen blipped.
Okay.
All right. This first super chat of the night goes to Allison McGlone for $4.99. An art question about drawing a fist from behind.
From behind.
And I have a picture of it.
Okay, let's see. Well, while you find the picture, I'm going to keep working. Just a minute, I'm going to have to get my reference up. It's got a bit of a complex costume.
Here.
Okay, here we go.
Top panel.
Top panel.
She's stopping a fist from behind, like not there.
Yes, I see it. Okay. So right here. All right. So based on you've got the girl here. Let me bring this here. And she's got her arm coming out. So her hand is about here. I'm just going to draw her fingers as a block. So it's there. And her other fist is here. Again, just a block. And the way that I would want to do that, you really want to transfer the energy from one hand to the other. So I would really draw it like this. Let me erase a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. So this is my wrist here. This is my hand. Here's my pinky. Thumb. And then the other fingers kind of disappear into that. So it's a little simple, but that's basically how I would go about it. Now, I would probably want to make sure that this hand lines up well to it. And this is where things get a little bit difficult. And for my part, I like the idea of drawing. I do this a lot of times. I'll draw hands before I'll draw the arm because I know where I want the hand and how I want the hand, and then I'll attach the arm. It doesn't always work, but generally it does. So that's about how I would approach it. So there you go, Allison. Thank you for the question. Okay. Reference.
And the next super chat comes from Pete Michele for $4.99. Dave, are there any paperbacks of your work I can find to study your interiors? Should be lots.
Yes. So I did 2 runs on Batman. I did Batman Rebirth. This would have been 2016, 2017, that kind of era. Issues 1 to 5, and then issues 10 to 16, I think. Anyway, basically a bunch of issues there. I did another, actually kind of 2 runs really, of Batman the Dark Knight. So there's a bunch of Batman stuff. I did a run of Wonder Woman that Meredith wrote. That was around 2014. And I think we started with issue 36. I did a run on Moon Knight. That's a little tough to find, unfortunately, which kills me because I like that stuff. I did Avengers for a while. So if you look for New Avengers, issue 1 and Avengers Disassembled, they really kind of launched the Avengers, the modern era of the Avengers. So they're pretty easy to find still. That's a good choice. And I mean, there are other ones. I did a bunch of X-Men and some other things, but those are probably the highlights in terms of, most of my big runs. I did a run on Ultimate X-Men before that. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. And then a super chat from Ross H. Fam for $4.99. I remember Escobar Art doing guts. Didn't you meet with him? Did you meet with Escobar Art?
I don't know. And I apologize.
I don't know. Dave remember. I mean, to be fair, Dave can't remember to take a shower every day.
Hey,
so,
whoa.
You know, asking him to remember somebody from last week or last year.
Well, in conventions,
even last month.
I meet hundreds of people at conventions, and it can make it very difficult. Like Eric, actually, I met at a convention, I think in Eric Grove, who is our moderator and also my co-host on a bunch of streams too. I met at a convention in Texas, and I didn't remember. But it can be difficult. Like Lance Dubois, I know from the Toronto convention, and I remember Lance because we met a bunch of times, and I've talked to him a bunch over the years.
I've been in Toronto like every year.
Yeah.
Except this year.
And JDST, I saw in Toronto this year, which was very cool.
Oh, you went this year?
Yep.
I didn't go this year. That's right. Alan De Leon has a super chat for $2. What's up, Master? Says Alan.
What's up, Alan? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Got. Hopefully this won't take too long, and then we'll have Meredith revolt. But he's got a complex costume. It's going to take a little time.
Take the time it takes. I just go to sleep at 10 o'clock. That's all.
Yeah, we're all on our own.
Long Journeys has a super chat for $5. Just finished watching, following the Brian Stelfreeze painting stream again. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. That was such an incredible stream. There's something really amazing about someone with such a unique, incredible skill set that can just do it so amazingly, you know. And I find there are times watching somebody that is that good, it's a little difficult for me to really understand and pick up, but he explained things so incredibly well. And Eric and I have been experimenting with that just a little bit, and we'll certainly be doing some more. And we will certainly have more painting streams. I have a couple of planned. Ariel Olivetti, I'd love to get on again, and we've been talking about it, and I think that's going to happen. I'd love to get Dan DeSantos again, if you would ever agree to it. That would be incredible.
Mentality 252 as a super chat for $4.99. Will drawing a comic book front to back multiple times help my art improve? Because I want to be great like you, Dave. I just have no guidance.
No, drawing a comic front to back multiple times. Okay, look, will it help you improve? Yes. Is it the most efficient way? I would not think so, no. And I've got an article, or I guess a blog post on my website. It's on the thing, davidfinchart.com. And it really breaks down kind of the method that I used and the method that I've seen work for a lot of people in order to be able to kind of navigate, because you're teaching yourself. I firmly believe that no matter where you're learning how to draw, if you're learning at a school or if you're learning on your own, the experience is very similar, and you really do need to teach yourself. It's not something that somebody can just give you. No matter how good the teaching is, you have to do the work yourself, and you have to be kind of smart about how you approach it. So for me, it really comes down to, now you can see with this picture here, I laid them up very, very loosely. That's really step one, being able to just break down really simple figures like this guy here. And just go through, if you go through a comic and you want to copy the figures like this, I highly recommend it. I think that's a really great way to go. And then you really want to start worrying about anatomy and devote time to learning where all the muscles go. And then start to reference other artists, muscle magazines, that kind of thing. Maybe not muscle magazines. You don't want a character that's going to look grotesque, which somebody that's taken too many steroids, it really can. So yeah, you want maybe fitness magazines. But especially really other comics. I mean, being a comic artist means that you're walking into a career that has 100 years of tradition and learning and progress and incredible artists to draw from, and you want to find your own style, and you will. And it really, the basis for your style needs to be other artists. It has to be. And so you kind of pick it's like the Beatles are very, very based in the blues, and they needed to be based in something. You can't make something from nothing. And then they made their own thing out of it. And so many, early rock bands are really heavily blues based, and current ones too. So you have to come from somewhere. And then I guess the question could be, where did blues come from? And I feel like the same thing is kind of true of artists. There are always artists out there that just seem to come up from nowhere with an incredibly original style, and who knows. But so if you're that person, you can ignore me. But for the rest of us, the best way really is to reference other artists, pick up what they do. I have a video called Stop Swiping, How to Reference Artists the Right Way. I'd recommend taking a look at that. That really breaks down really my process for looking at other artists. I have a video also about perspective hacks is what I call the video. And it really is how to use not only 3D, but also other artists and use their panels and their perspective structure to create your own panels, not copying their panels, but copying the way that they put together their perspective.
Dave,
yes.
I need to do a sound check because Nick from Detroit says, Meredith Finch, you sound like you're in a cave. I think your mic is off. I just turned it up a bit already. Because you had me down like
I had it down
he's
pretty
at
low.
10 and he had me at 2. So hopefully now you can hear me.
I like to overcorrect.
Overcorrect. That's like silence me, basically. That's what
I
you
was
want to
not
do.
trying to
Tried to
silence
silence me. Silence. Nick from Detroit says, Meredith, you need to adjust your microphone or else it's not on. See?
There you go. Should be
You're
fixed.
silencing me. Let me know if it works. I'll find out in about 10 minutes when I get down that far. Greg Aesthetic Art has a super chat for $1.99. Hey, Dinam, I believe I have your whole run on Moon Knight.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I had copies, and I gave them away years ago.
You
And
didn't even have a single one?
no, I got none of my own Moon Knight work because I gave it all away, and then they don't really reprint it. So yeah, I don't have it, which sucks. Is what it
It's
is.
the worst. All right. HowToDrawComics.net has a super chat for $20. Love Berzerk. Great to see you draw guts, Dave. Looking great so far.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming by, and thanks for the super chat. And I'm very much looking forward to doing a stream together soon. It's something we've been talking about, and it needs to happen really this month, soon, whenever I can convince you to do it.
Bear Draws has a super chat for $4.99. Fun fact, Berzerk was mainly a bi-weekly and tri-weekly for roughly the first 200 chapters up to the Falcon of the Millennium Arc, I believe. Bi-weekly and tri-weekly.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what? There are manga artists that have worked themselves to death. And, the level of dedication it takes to make it in Japan doing this stuff. I mean, these people are, they deserve an enormous amount of respect for what they're able to pull off. Yeah. And, that's the kind of dedication that will get you the kind of success or has the chance to get you the kind of success that Kentaro had.
Everybody can hear me perfectly now.
Okay, good.
See, you just muted me. Too quiet. People, there's a certain amount of volume expected. I'll try to hold the mic farther from my mouth. How about that? Because I normally hold it really close.
All right.
Is that better? All
Better.
right. Jesus Miguel has a super chat for $20. Hi, David and Meredith. Question. What scanner do you use to scan your work? And or what would be a good scanner that pros use? Thanks, and I love your non-stop Spider-Man covers, Dave.
Oh, thank you. I have an Epson, big, huge one. It costs a lot. Like, unless you're scanning really every day, and it's
and also he's scanning double-sized pages.
Right. So I still would have just put scans together, but I'm scanning. Everything is already a double page spread. It would mean using a small scanner, putting 4 scans together. It was crazy. So really all you need is just a simple normal size scanner, and then you just put them together in Photoshop. It's really not so hard. And if you want to look for a bigger scanner, that's a whole other thing. It's an Epson big, huge scanner. I don't know.
I don't know. I just Googled online. What's the best scanner to use for scanning? There's every answer you need is found on the internet. I was doing that today, looking for other stuff. I could get up and look. I just know it's an Epson.
Right.
It's a big, like, flatbed for scanning prints and photographs and all kinds of stuff. John Trotta has a super chat for $4.99. I only have 30 to 45 minutes a day to practice. What are the most efficient ways to improve your craft with limited bandwidth?
Write yourself a list. At the beginning of the week, say, this week I'm going to work on, and decide whatever that's going to be. So if it's arms and you want to work on a specific thing, like let's say you already kind of have your anatomy worked out, you know where it all goes, and you want to try out Frazetta, go through a ton, Frank Frazetta, go through a ton of Frank Frazetta's artwork and just draw it, and then draw your own. And I've done some videos over the summer. Eric and I did some artist studies. I'd recommend taking a look at that. And what you want to do is, just do studies and then do your own version of them and try to internalize as much as you can. Give yourself a week to do that and focus. I think that's really my number one piece of advice, is to focus on a particular skill, whatever it happens to be. If it's perspective, that's what you're doing that week. You really want to focus on that. The only exception I would make to that rule is drawing gestures. And by gestures, again, I mean basically this. You can only see a little bit of it there, but just simple figure gestures. I really recommend spending a half an hour. Well, you only have so much time, 10 minutes at least. Spend a little bit of time every week and go ahead and just do some gestures. But then, you really want to look, and also look at what you're weak at or what people are saying that could be better. So if it's legs, work on legs. And you can break it down to the point where it's even, not just legs, but really the back of legs or the back of arms, or hands. And I mean, hands are so complex. You could spend a week on fists. You really can. But that kind of investment is what will help you in the future, because when you get work, you can't afford to not be able to draw this stuff without looking at reference. I look at reference all the time, not as much as I used to, but I do still. I have artists that I love. I still look at things, but I need to have the ability to just be able to put that stuff out there.
And the answer to the scanner is it's an Expression 12,000 XL. Epson Expression 12,000 XL.
12,000 or 1,200?
12,000. There are 3 zeros. That's 12,000.
Okay, yeah.
I looked. The 3 Eyebrows has a super chat for 25 PLN. I don't know what that is, but how would you shadow a wide exterior shot like a street at night? How do you keep it light and limit the light source? Do you limit the light sources? Use the composition as a guide? Many things.
Okay, I'm getting up for this one. Let me show you the master. This is Eduardo Rizzo, written by Brian Azzarello, who is one of my favorite writers, and I've read all these, which is unusual for me. Usually I look at the pictures, to be honest, but I love this stuff. And look at this. Now that's just one panel, and this is during the day. And let me just go ahead and here's another great panel. Let me flip through until we get to something that's more in a nighttime scene. That's exterior of a nighttime scene. It's all over in here. I'm going to be going through this all day trying to find this now that I say it. But well, here's a nighttime scene. And you can see, very interesting how he's chosen to do it. It's basically, and here's another one. He's made this almost a silhouette and then just used, we guess this would be the light from her phone, which is really, or she's got a flashlight, a light from a flashlight. It's a little unrealistic, but it really works as a design idea. And having books like this, here's a great idea. He's got her in the foreground, she's silhouetted, and then he's lit in the background here. Let's get out of the woods here and do. You wanted a city scene. If you can find. Here I am picking the one book of all of these books where I can't find anything at night in the city. And they're such huge books. Like there's so much to them that. Come on. This is basically nighttime. You can see here, he's got this scene here lit from, obviously it would be like a light just above, and he's really created a composition using that lighting there. And here's a night scene. This is really nice. Now he's gone with a black sky. That's something that I don't often do, but it really works because he's organized his black so well. Like he's got a light here, and then this is dark above it, and it's actually uplit. And then this is all light to contrast against the sky behind it. So it's all about just layering your lights and darks. And frankly, here's a great scene. This would work as a nighttime scene. Actually, it wouldn't. If he did this as a nighttime scene, and you could see at the other page, it's basically the same scene. He's lit this here because it's lit from in here, and he's lit this here. Whereas here, he's got it shadowed, and everything is lit really from the sky. So it's all shadowed under here. And that's the big difference that really takes us from a daytime scene to a nighttime scene. So yeah, what I would really recommend you do is take a look at 100 Bullets. That's such a great shot. And he's an absolute master at this kind of thing. I don't want to spend the whole time going through this book. I mean, look at this. It's beautiful, and it's all so nicely arranged. Yeah, highly recommend this book. That's a great shot of an alley. Yeah, so that would be my recommendation. I couldn't do it personally if I was just doing it out of my head, or if I was trying to just reference photos. Now, I do reference photos for specific backgrounds, but I don't take the lighting generally because the lighting in real life is very rarely as clear and compositional as you'll get from something like a master like Eduardo Rizzo.
Okay. Among Chile, I hope I said that right, has a super chat for $4.99. Hi, DNM. Dave, might I recommend Chris Bumstead? He's the 3-time classic Mr. Olympia. And thank you both for making my Mondays enjoyable.
Well, thank you very much. And thanks for the suggestion. I will check it out for sure. There are a few, I guess it's about aesthetics when it comes to bodybuilders, and my opinion of what works for a comic is not necessarily the same as what works. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is incredible, but overall his proportions are not ideal for a hero, because I really like, in comics, you generally see a more of a barrel chest. So you'll have the chest, and then you have the rib cage underneath there, and it kind of projects out. And that's not something you see really on most normal people. So when I find somebody actually sent, and I can't remember what it is anymore. I've got it saved out somewhere. Actually, one of the live streams, and I can't remember which, I brought out some of his stuff, some pictures of him. He just recently passed away, actually, which unfortunately is a bit of a theme right now.
Art Dad and the Misfits has a super chat for $25. Hope y'all had a good week and stay safe. Glad my patient tonight likes art, so we're watching the stream.
That's great. Thank you so much. It's very generous. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it. This is already a lot of fun to draw.
Yeah.
I should just quit and do manga.
Okay.
Except I can't do it.
No.
Like manga. I could do my version. I don't know if anybody would want that.
It's not really manga.
It's the designs. Yeah. For me, like and I'm a huge fan.
That's why you like manga.
Yes. It's really, it's the designs, and it's incredible fight scenes and just a sense of movement that some of the best manga artists get. And it's unusual for an artist, as Kentaro Miura is very, very detailed, and his stuff is very, very fluid and really dramatic. And that is a tough combination to pull off.
Dave?
Yes.
If we were to have Jason on, did you need to send him a link?
Oh, shoot. Hold on, everyone. That is a good point, isn't it? Copy. I'm going to have to email him. Hold on. Normally, yeah, we did this beforehand. Reply. Paste. Send. There, done.
All right.
And we're back.
There we go. All right. Ross Main has a super chat for 10 pounds. Hi, Dean M. I'm interested in knowing how you collaborated with one another on Wonder Woman. Meredith, did you throw David the outline script and say, have at it, Haas? Or did you go back and forth with one another?
Well,
we were loose at the beginning. Like I gave you paragraphs and we sat and we talked and you laid out pages over coffee. But then as we went on, it didn't really work for either one of us. So we ended up, I just tightened it up and did full script for you.
yes, because neither of us had the time. We've got young kids to be able to just, the whole idea was that I would do a lot of the pacing. And so it could be very loose. And it worked, but we just did not have the time to be able to sit and do that. So Meredith ended up going a lot tighter, kind of with the understanding that I would kind of take it my own way if I felt like it worked. So she was very good that way. Most writers tend to be, if you get across what writers are looking for you to get across and you hit the points and it works visually, they're willing to let you have a little leeway. And I want to say, speaking of which, but not at all. We have Jason.
She beat him. Is he here?
He's here, so I'm going to bring him in. Here we go.
Right. Bring in the Jason so we can update on the Kickstarter.
Hey guys, how are you?
Jason has a new puppy.
Thank you. I'm a little
Distracted?
scatterbrained since he's downstairs running around making a mess. So
yeah.
We won't keep you long so that he doesn't eat all your slippers.
yeah, definitely. How's everyone doing tonight?
We're good.
Yeah.
We had an awesome first week with that Kickstarter.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. Great work.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it went so much better than I hoped at all. I couldn't have imagined.
Because we have an awesome flock.
Yes, and for everyone that has gotten their copy or ordered their copy so far, thank you really, again, very, very much. It means a lot.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to everybody. Actually, we are closing in on the next stretch goal, which gives everyone a hardcover.
Woohoo!
We're about $600 away from that.
Well, maybe these new tiers you're going to announce can help us get there.
That's exactly right. We just uploaded a few new tiers. We're calling it Meredith's Amazing Tiers.
Meredith Night. It's
Meredith
Monday night with Meredith.
Yes, some great stuff. If you guys go over to the Kickstarter, which I don't know if it's pinned on your chat.
It is, yes.
It is. I don't know.
It's pinned on the chat. It is pinned on the chat.
And it's in the video description below.
But it's pinned on the chat.
Okay.
Great. So yeah, we added the chicken tier, named that Fowl, which gives a few lucky people naming rights to all the chickens and ducks on the farm.
The new chickens that are coming. Dave hates this tier, people. He hates it. So
yeah, for the record, I think this is absolutely ridiculous.
Did you see him sigh and roll his eyes?
Well, no, because you can't see me on a camera right now. But
you know the Dave sigh and the eye roll.
I can't believe we're actually doing this. That's all I would say.
Well, we have 5 ducks and 6 new chickens coming this year. So it's awesome because Jason's going to do like little name tags. So you'll have your name on our chicken coop with your chicken's name.
Yeah, so we'll post some pictures, right, of all the chickens.
Of course.
Amazing. So go check that one out. And then we added 2 other tiers for Meredith, which is a Zoom call, right?
Yep.
And also a portfolio script review.
Everything you want to know. You can pick my brain for 30 minutes on a Zoom call, or you can have me read your script and give you my honest feedback. For what that's worth, we're about to find out.
We'll see. Well, we should put a caveat that not all names, they have to be appropriate. We're not just going to put up, inappropriate names, right?
Right. Oh, yes. The names have to be like, we have a G-rated show and a G-rated farm. Yes. So appropriate, kind chicken names that you wouldn't be ashamed to have my children go down and greet the chickens with these names.
That is actually a good point.
Thank
I
you
never
for
think about this.
thank
stuff,
you
but,
for that clarification, Jason. Because
Yeah, we have to sometimes make some specific notes because sometimes people might get a little unruly.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for today's update. We're going to work on some other ones for next week, and once we get those okayed, we'll swing back and give everyone the update.
Woo.
all right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Now
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jason, and now go see what that cute little puppy's destroyed.
We'll send pictures. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks,
All right,
Jason.
Yeah, you too. Thanks
Take
so
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So there you have it. People get to name the chickens. See, Dave did the face for you just because he could.
I can't believe we're doing that, but there you go.
Oh, it's fun. People can. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. But people want to do it, they can. Doobie Dular has a super chat for $5. Doobie says the Epson Workforce WF7610 is a great affordable printer with 11x17 scanner used by a few pros.
Well, there you go. Well, that's good advice.
That's great advice. Thank you, Doobie.
I could have used that.
We could have used that advice when we bought this one.
Because it was really thousands. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how expensive
Stupid
that thing was.
expensive. We're not good at stuff like that.
No.
We're not good. I just Google and then try to find out what's the best thing. And then Dave is like, it's got to be good for scanning paintings. And there you go. That's the end of that.
The good news is that it is. And it's a tax write-off.
That's true.
You can't write off everything. Like, it's not like it makes it free money, but certainly better than it would be.
Does reduce the amount that we pay to the government.
Yeah.
SCS Powerlifting in the house with the
Hey, it's
super
been a while.
chat.
Well, it's been a couple of shows. I haven't seen them.
What up, D&M and the Flock family? Back from the dead and feeling a ton better. I'm glad to be back with the stream. That sounds like SCF was sick.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. And it's good to see you again. Mostly,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, that's we've been sick too. Everybody's been sick this winter, it seems like.
Yeah, well, lately that's been going around.
Yeah. JDSCT is a super chat for $10. Good evening, D&M. Hope you're doing well. Wondering if you have any recommendations for art books not centering around people. So like buildings, cars, animals, everyday objects.
That is a really good question. You know what? There are some incredible, especially some of the 90s, before things went 3D, especially for anime. There are some incredible art books out there, and I'd really recommend taking a look at some of those. I can't think of a name off the top of my head, but there are some really amazing ones, and all the scenes from the movie are shown in their drawn form in the book, and it's a great resource. I have a few of those. Actually, that's something maybe next week I should really do for the book of the week. I do those kinds of books, and those can be, they're incredible, some of them. So next week we'll have to do that. But that's what I would really recommend. Look for some really good art of anime books, from especially some older things where things were really much more hand-drawn.
All right. Nick from Detroit says foghorn leghorn. And for the chicken name, Eric says, so Chicken McChicken Face, is that the question? No, you can call him Chicken McChicken Face if you want to. That's not inappropriate. Hannah could say that.
Yeah.
Maybe Hannah picked that. Hannah said Chicken McChicken Face. Jamal Rashid has a super chat for $4.99. Hey, Finch family, super happy about your book. Honestly, you are the Luke Skywalker of drawing, raising up new artists. God bless you and the family. Thank you so much, Jamal.
Thank you
nice
very
to have
much.
you back with us again this week. Always good to see our friends.
Yes.
Liam T says, if I had spare money, I would put it toward naming one of the chickens Sir David Finch Jr. It would be glorious. Very funny. Supersonico says, don't forget to pre-order your chicken soup. I mean, your copy of Monday Night Draw season 1. Supersonico. Hopefully not for many years will we have chicken soup. Not with those chickens anyway. Although I am thinking of ordering maybe in June some chicken soup chickens. We'll see. They won't be named.
I just don't know.
We'll see. I have to have like a
What'll
special...
end up happening is we'll get them.
But
and no one's going to have the heart to make them
No,
chicken
they'd
soup.
go in a separate bin. They won't be near my egg-laying chickens. They'd and they're only around for 13 weeks or 21 days. Like, they're not around. They're here for a good time, not a long time.
All right.
Andrew Lee has a super chat for $5. Have you ever read Vagabond by Takiko Inu? Also, your videos have really helped develop my skills. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. I'm very much glad. And that's really what motivates me to keep doing it. I enjoy it, but I'm always behind with work. Always. So those kind of comments really make it feel like it's worth taking the time to do them. So thank you.
So have you
not read Vagabond? No.
All right.
I'm actually not familiar, to be honest.
All right. I'm writing it down on my phone. Eric says 500 almost 500 backers. Let's see if we got to get to 500 in the first week. We've got 600 people watching right now. 503 people have liked this video. 503 people. Can't be wrong. Don't you want your own copy of Monday Night Draw memorabilia? I think there's like a Finch Flock pin coming at some point.
There is, and we have some more things next week that I'm very excited about doing. I've got a couple to announce, and I wanted to say it now, but I won't.
Yeah, keep it for next week.
Oops, losing stuff here.
Jimmy Reyes Art Teary says,
Jimmy,
Meredith Finch, you chicken killer. Now I have tears in my McNuggets. Not my egg chickens. They're my sweet girls. They come up and they get pets. Oh, they just love me.
Oh yeah, I walk out there and all the chickens run to the edge of the coop.
They're like, oh hi, it's so nice to see you. You came out to see us.
I had no idea chickens would be that way.
As soon as you go to open the egg collecting lid, the one chicken jumps up to say hi. The black and white one.
Yeah.
She always jumps up to say hi and get her little scratches. So yeah, they're a lot of fun.
They are.
Michael Johnson Curry has a super chat for $4.99. I often study Mike Mignola, sorry. When it comes to lights and darks. You mentioned Ed Russo as good also. What are the differences between their techniques that I should look for?
The biggest difference, Mike Mignola tends to be very graphic. So his compositions usually are, they're more flat. And for me to say that, it sounds like it's a bad thing. And I don't mean that at all. But they tend to be more flat to the camera with a really just great composition of elements across a scene. He runs the eye through a scene really well. I think he's great to look at for that kind of thing. Eduardo Rizzo, and if you looking at that book that we were looking at just a few minutes ago, his stuff tends to be very dynamic in terms of his shot selection. So a lot of really interesting angles, much more. He'll have a shot looking down into a scene. Obviously, Mike Mignola will do that too. And then, more intense kind of 3D or 3-point perspective, that kind of thing. Like he tends to be a little bit more adventurous in terms of his camera angle choices. Also, he is very influenced by Frank Miller. So there's a bit more of a Frank Miller feel to a lot of the way that he arranges his darks and lights. And by Frank Miller, I mean, specifically Frank Miller's work on Sin City. So, and you can really see that influence in there.
Kevin Mandevil says, hopefully one of the new add-ons is the addition of one of Dave's sweet rulers. These are mapping rulers. That's a binnacle.
Not this one. This is actually an antique.
Binnacle, but
I bought this. It was an antique, and I thought, oh, how cool is that? And I never planned on using it. And it's
But
the
the-
only one I have right now.
But
And
the
so I'm
binnacle ones
trashing-
are see-through,
Yeah. Whoops.
so you can see right through them.
Oh, everybody enjoy that? Sorry, guys.
But yeah, you keep giving them away. That's why you don't have yours, because we bought a bunch. But you just order you can order them online. Binnacle mapping rollers, what they're called.
Right.
They use them for navigation.
And who knows who would still use that, because everything's all kind of computerized, but they
You can
still
still
sell
get
them, and that's where I get them. I need to order some, because as much as I love that one, this one here is really not ideal.
No, because you can't see through it.
I can't see through it, so it makes it can be a bit more of a challenge to use.
Everybody
right.
says you should read Vagabond. It has God tier artwork.
All right,
So
deal.
that's
Good.
a. Nick from Detroit wants to know if the chickens have hawk and fox protection.
They do.
They do. They're in a cage. I mean, I guess a fox could get in there during the day, but they're locked in their coop at night. Nobody can get in them at night.
And we have dogs that are as big as people.
Yeah, so we don't really see a lot of wildlife beyond birds. The coyotes don't come because they're afraid of the dogs, which I would be too. They got big paws. They're like lion prints.
Yeah. Well, and they, go outside all the time.
Yeah.
And animals can smell that, and they stay away. I mean, they're big dogs. They're the friendliest dogs in the world, and they're, our biggest Oscar is a chicken. He runs from puppies, but the foxes don't know that.
He does. So funny.
They're Irish Wolfhounds.
Antoine Washington has a super chat for $1.99. I just love saying Antoine's name. Just love saying it.
Rolls off the tongue.
It just rolls off beautifully. Like some names just like. So sorry, Antoine. Always put a little emphasis on it because I just love saying it. Antoine says, I'm late, but I made it. Happy Monday, David Meredith. Happy Monday to you too, Antoine.
Yes.
And Random Pat has a super chat for $2. Hi, Finch family. Loving Monday Night Draw this season. Thank you so much, Random Pat.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more like doing Berzerk. I don't know that I would have done it in the first season. It's just so different than what I would normally do. But I'm enjoying doing some different things and seeing how it goes.
And Art9, I will not be killing my own chickens. Thank you very much. I will be loading them into my horse trailer and driving them to the abattoir. Well, they will do that job for me. They will live a happy, healthy life, running in the sunshine, unlike your chicken McNuggets.
Which aren't even chicken.
Which aren't even chicken. Fair enough.
Basically sawdust.
It's so true.
Okay,
We did not
allegedly.
say that. Oh, we're gonna get copyright claimed.
Not copyright, but sued.
McDonald's is gonna sue us for defamation.
Yeah. For the record, I have no idea what is in.
I can't eat a chicken McNugget. I'm gluten free. So, Roy De La Cruz 8 has a super chat for $4.99. Hey there, hope you're doing good. David, you once said that when you met Mike Mignola, the art tip was to look at your art in a mirror.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Okay. Where's my mirror? Hold on. I'm getting up a lot this time. So here's my mirror. It's all dusty and it's got paint on it. But if I hold this up and look in it, I can see my picture backwards. And most artists, maybe not most, but certainly a lot of artists, and I do, have a pull. So you'll have one eye that's higher than the other, or you'll draw a head and one corner of the head will come up a little bit too high. And it's obvious to anybody that looks at it, but when you're drawing it, you don't see it because it's a mental pull. So you're blind to it. So it's a very good idea to have a mirror and look at your artwork backwards in the mirror. The other technique, I'm just going to take this up to my light. You can't see me doing it. Well, whatever. Anyway, if I just put this up to my light, I can see through the page and I can see it backwards this way. That works too. That's actually how Mark Silvestri always did it when I worked for Mark. So either way works fine. But The point is you want to see your picture backwards. And if you're not sure, I really recommend that you just give it a shot. You don't need a mirror. Just look at it in the light through the back of the page, and you might be amazed at how different the picture looks. Now, if you're working on the computer, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar just with the technique of just flipping the image periodically as you're working. Same effect.
Brian Stelfreeze is here tonight, David, and he says that we should name the chickens after their impending fate, like Cordon Bleu, Nugget, Kiev.
Oh, man.
Brian.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming by. And again, thank you so much for the great stream that we had. I'm very, very thankful. And I know everybody that watched is too. And I am looking forward to hopefully getting to do it again.
Jacob Keogh is going to blow a gasket. Guts has one eye.
What? Come on.
I know you're looking at a statue where he has two eyes.
Hold on.
But he's not the only person, I think, that said that Guts has one eye.
No, I believe you. Oh, yeah. And the other one is closed.
Are you keeping is the wrong eye?
No, we're fine.
Okay. You're good? Okay. Just so we know. All right. And Jeffrey Niffen has some great advice. If you're in America, Binnacle is really expensive with shipping. I got a Weems and Plath. Same thing.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. Thank you for that tip, Jeffrey. Corey, I love the flock, always helping each other.
Yes.
Corey, this is like a great source of just like little tidbits and little
it's an incredible
and
community.
Treats and yeah, even we learn stuff all the time. Corey has a super chat for $2. Corey wants to know, how would you draw glowing energy eyes?
Okay. Let me think about that for a second. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to draw, here's an eye. So hard for me to draw and not shake. You know what? This week, I keep saying I'm going to do it, or I keep thinking I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a camera that sits above the desk so I'm not shaking this thing all the time. It's got to happen at some point. So there's an eye. I could just leave it like that, and that would do it. You can try to light the face from the eyes, and that's very, very difficult to do. You can imagine because I would have to like I'd be dark up here, away from the eyes, and then give him some furrowed brow. His could be dark all up here, and then here it could be dark, and he's really kind of being lit, from his eyes. So I'm kind of centralizing the light source. That's something I would do in like really extreme circumstances. I wouldn't really recommend trying to do that. Another thing that you can do. This is an easier method than trying to light the whole face around the eyes. And also bear in mind that when you work with a colorist, if you work with a colorist, they'll just glow the eyes. You don't have to do anything. But if you want it to really kind of read like that, you can just give it a bit of this kind of a thing like this. Just a little bit of a lens flare coming off the eye. And that can have that effect. I never do this, ever. Because I always pretty much work with a colorist, or I just leave it open. So it just has no pupil and no iris. And it reads that way. So I never find it to be a problem. But that would be like, how terrible does that look? This is where, this is a detail-oriented thing to make it really work. But anyway, you could do something like that too. And that would work also. But yeah, again, that's something you can count on a colorist for.
All right. Next, Ramen Knight has a super chat for $1, but I don't see a comment, so I will look for a comment from Ramen Knight. Thank you for the super chat. And Duff,
thank you.
Pappy has a super chat for $5. Hi, Dave. How do you draw deltoids that look like pumpkins on characters like Hulk or Bane? I have trouble drawing large shoulders correctly. He says right, but I'm just going to say correctly just so that you know, like large shoulders, right? Not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to do it on the back of here. So when it comes to drawing a shoulder, I've got my chest kind of here like this. There we go. There's my chest. There's a hole for my arm. And obviously this is pretty sloppy. It's just simple. But when I put my shoulder on there, I'm going to just draw it as a ball and have my arm coming down out of it. And then here's my lower arm. But obviously that's not really much what a shoulder looks like. So what I want to do is it's kind of flat along the top. You got a bit of a flat here. And then it kicks up, comes out, and then comes across into the chest like that. And that's basically the general shape. And I swear I just did this like last week. But that would be kind of the shape that you're dealing with. So you want to think of your forms in terms of 3D shapes. This is why I like Bridgman so much. He's really good at these kinds of breakdowns. I really recommend for this kind of thing you look at Bridgman. So that's like a really simplified version. But then like I'm going to draw a figure. Here we're looking down. Here's his chest. And I want my shoulders to really pop. So I'm drawing where my shoulders attach, and there's my shoulders, and now I'm drawing my arm coming out of it. And so you can see, like, wait, I'll give him a head. And so you can see that just as a general shape, I've got those shoulders working. Now from the top, it really comes down to learning how they connect. And this is, I would really recommend, if you're going to look at fitness magazines for anything, or photographs of weightlifters for anything, the shoulder girdle, this whole area is a really great thing to study in depth. But that's really what it comes down to. You have to think of it in terms of that kind of a shape that has volume to it. And my favorite way is from the front. Here's the chest. I like to cut in. So there we go. I draw it as a ball sticking out, and then my arm comes out of it. And obviously I can work with that ball shape because it's not really a ball. But if I draw that shape in instead of just trying to draw an arm out of the chest, that gives me a good starting point for being able to establish it as a pumpkin, basically.
All righty. Samuel Reyes has a super chat for $10. I adjusted my backer level. Yay for a script review with Meredith. I'm excited. I have 13 chickens. Used to have 18. Naming them gets you attached. Then they die.
Yes.
Hopefully they live like at least 5 years, I'm told.
Yeah, and the ones we have now.
I love my chickens.
Yeah, they have names.
Yeah. MGK, Ham.
Yeah, we have an 18-year-old son. So if you wonder why we have a chicken named MGK.
MGK.
There you go.
Goose, Ham, Cluck. Can't remember the other one. I actually call the black and white one that greets me all the time Queenie. I gave her own name because she's the queen of the coop. She's bold and sassy. Thank you for the super chat, Samuel. And thank you for adjusting your backer level. I'm looking forward to reading your script. And enjoy your chickens. We won't have 13 when we're done this year. This year we'll have 11. Not a 12 piece. 11 chickens. I saw that comment. I saw the 12-piece comment. Johnny D says, Meredith Finch, the best way to find reference for glowing eyes is to look up illustrations of Scott Summers, a.k.a. Cyclops.
Yeah, there you go. Now, he has eyes that if he opens them, they shoot out a bolt. So that works a little differently. And I've actually drawn
Dark Phoenix.
some shots of him that way.
Dark Phoenix you do with glowing eyes.
Yeah, well, look, a lot of characters do. And okay, so Dark Phoenix, you would tend to just front light the face, something like what I have here, but just a little bit more severe, and then it really makes the eyes pop. So that's something that you can do too.
Mentality 252 has another super chat for $4.99. What anatomy book should I study? And have you met Peter Hahn?
I have not met Peter Hahn, no. And anatomy books, okay, truthfully, the anatomy books I would really recommend are free because they're just on Google. Just search up human anatomy, because what you want from them is the general placement of the muscles. You don't need anything beyond that, because you'll get to make your anatomy look real and make it dynamic and make it really work. You need something. I'm not letting it dry. I'm gonna end up with a little bit. It's gonna give it texture. You need to start getting into something more like Bern Hogarth. That isn't really. He's not teaching anatomy as much as he's teaching dynamic anatomy. I am not a big Bern Hogarth fan, personally. But if that's a look that you like, then that's a really good resource. I personally think when it comes to just learning all the placement of muscles, that kind of thing, you really want to just get some good diagrams off of Google. Just, search human anatomy. And then from there, that's when you really start your study, and you want to start looking at Andrew Loomis and Bridgman and then other artists and that kind of thing to really start putting it together in a because it's one thing to have an understanding of where the anatomy goes. It's a whole other thing to be able to actually use that anatomy in a dynamic way in a drawing. It's a very different skill, and that's what you really need to learn. That's really the skill that separates you.
So, Dave, is there a book of the week?
Yeah, I've got one.
You do have one?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to do it?
Sure. I don't have any earphones on. Do. I know that this music's playing. Do. I'm probably totally not in tune with the music, and I'll just like.
Okay.
There you go.
Book of the week. So this is an old one. I've had this for ages. This is actually a bunch of reprints. I like these. This is volume 3 of Wolverine from the late 80s to mid 90s and beyond, I'm sure. But I don't have the first 2 anymore, and they're incredibly hard to find. I lent again. How many books have I had over the years that I lent out, and that's the end of them. But this one I especially like because when I first started looking at comics, Mark Silvestri was the artist that really, really stood out for me. And this stuff actually was old. He was working on Cyberforce. It hadn't quite come out yet when I first got into comics and started trying to draw. But this is the stuff that for the first couple of months that I was really, really working on, because Cyberforce wasn't out yet. And it's still my favorite. And basically every skill that I have, you can see done here better, I mean, every panel, and he did this stuff so quickly. The way that he's framed this panel with piping and then lit the pipes to really, pop it out. And he's not working out of perspective with real perspective lines on all of these. A lot of times he's kind of faking it. I worked with him enough to know that a lot of times he does use proper perspective, but he's very economical and makes sure that he does the amount of work that he needs to do. His folds, Mark Silvestri's folds, always stood out for me. Unfortunately, it's so old, it's kind of broken, as really amazing. And I said a couple of weeks ago that he got a lot of his folds from Andrew Leyendecker. Anyway, Leyendecker. He was. I'm blanking on his full name. But he did Saturday Evening Post covers before Norman Rockwell. Anyway, yeah, and I've drawn so many of these panels. I've drawn like my versions of, not exactly drawing these panels, but like this figure, I've swiped that a few times. I've actually gotten that is such a great looking figure. If you want eyes to look like they're glowing, that's a good choice right there. I actually, years and years ago, over 20 years ago, stopped looking at Mark's work entirely because it is so influential to me. He is my biggest influence by far. That when I start looking at it, I just start drawing like Mark, and not as well, obviously, but it just completely absorbs me into it. And so, unfortunately, I needed to step away from it, which is such a shame. And I still love looking at it, but I'm very careful to try not to look at it as influence for that reason, which kills me because, in so many ways, you know what it's like to have an artist that you just want to draw just like that artist. And Mark is, that artist for me. I love that panel. And so what he's got here, and I say this all the time, so Meredith, I know I'm going to take forever here, but he's got just a triangular composition for his shadow here, framing these two guys. And then because he's got the shadow here, he's kind of just blocked it over this figure here, and it makes it a little bit more mysterious. And here he's a little more mysterious here too. And he's done that because obviously you can see he's got a shadow here. It's hiding who it is until you finally see that it's Sabretooth. But yeah, just incredible stuff. Like, look at that. And this is all, by the way, inked by Dan Green. Still my favorite Mark Silvestri inker. And I know that he doesn't love that, Mark, because Dan was a little heavy-handed because he's more of a brush inker and he's very gestural inker, which I love. But that definitely has a strong influence on the art. And when you're, as an artist, I know this, when you're really trying to get across what you're trying to get across, it's frustrating. When you work with an inker that has a heavy hand, no matter how good they are, and unfortunately, sometimes no matter how much of a great impact they have on the work, I love that figure. Look at how tiny his feet are, though. That was such an image thing at the time for ages. We all did that. These are some of my favorite figures. I'm just basically going through one book here, and like there's tons of it, but yeah, these figures, and I can tell you, I worked with Mark long enough. He was not looking at reference for any of this stuff, like none of this. He would just sit down and do it. Everything that you see here, this bar, he didn't reference anything. Just about ever, because he didn't need to. And some artists are that way. Unfortunately, that's not all of us, but yeah, beautiful stuff. Just compositionally, that is such a great shot. It really runs from Wolverine, his arm connects, and then to this guy here. It's just beautifully shown. Yeah, there's so much in here. That is one of my favorite faces. I copied that a few times trying to learn how to draw early on. Look at that back. It's just amazing. Anyway, yeah, you can find these as individual books. I mean, these books, when they came out, Marvel was selling, there's actually just a couple. I love that arm. Look at that. But there's a figure coming up. Here it is. That is one of my favorite figures of all time. Nick Fury with Wolverine on the motorcycle beside him. You can find all of these individual issues very cheap because they printed so many copies. This was really at the height of, the speculator market in the end of the 80s and the early 90s. And I'll stop. Okay, Meredith's yelling at me in the background, or whispering.
In the background,
whispering. Anyway,
I'm
amazing stuff. The most influential stuff of all time in my career. And I have not showed it before now because I'm trying to kind of show work that is less well known, But there's a point where I have to show you guys the stuff that is the most meaningful for me. And that certainly is. So there you go.
all righty. Well, I've got a couple public service announcements because this is that time of the night. First of all, we are 5 backers away from finishing off, or the first week, or I guess we're starting the second week now, with 500 backers. We only need 5 backers. It would be so awesome if we could get those 5 backers on the stream. Right? Like before 10 o'clock, if we finished tonight at the end of your first week and we started with no backers last week, we could have 500
now, that being said,
in a week.
We're already so much further than I thought we would be.
Well, I know, but why
yeah.
not? Come on.
Sure.
Like, why not ask? So I'm putting it out there. And if you've not already, 686 people are watching. 757 people have liked so far. Why not go for 1,000? Can we get 1,000 likes tonight? I don't know. 5 backers and 1,000 likes. Let's do it. I was 759. If you have not already subscribed to the David Finch channel, the numbers are constantly growing. 226 6,000 people know that Dave's the bomb, that this is a place that you want to go to get your art tutorial on. So subscribe, like, and be one of the 5. Get us to 500 at the end of our first week. And then you can name a chicken. Alejandro, that's the end of me for tonight. Alejandro Moreno has a super chat for $2. Hello to David Meredith and all Finch fams. Hello to you, Alejandro. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Yes,
Happy
happy
Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I'm making it up so that I don't get a copyright strike.
Really? That's not a hit song?
No, I know. It's shocking. Shocking that it's not, really. I'm making a record, people. Making a record of all the Monday Night Draw songs. There's only 2 so far. I can't remember the other one. Asmodeu 18. Asmodeu. I hope I did that right.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you didn't.
Probably not.
But I'm also going to say, because I've had to do what you do enough times, that I always screw it up. So
De is the ending. Deux. That's 2 in French. ASMO. Asmodeu 18 has a super chat for $10. Hi, David. I was wondering what good hand exercises can you recommend? I draw a lot and have a concern about carpal tunnel syndrome. Good question.
So, just, doing one of these really kind of stretches out my hand, and I can feel it right now. And I never do this. I really should. And just rolling my wrist, and opening and closing my hand. That's really about all I would do. My other real technique, because hand pain is a problem, is I just put tape on my pencil, and that really works. It makes a huge difference. And I don't put tape on any of my other tools because I don't press as hard with them. It's the pencil that I tend to press way too hard with a pencil for whatever reason. But yes. So that's honestly really all I've got. It's a problem for a lot of artists. I know, back problems over the years. Now, any repetitive job, you're gonna face that kind of thing. Fortunately, there are workarounds. Like my back I find if I sit at the desk too long, I can start to get uncomfortable. So I generally work on the couch. And I know Scott Williams, an incredible inker, has like a reclined desk that helps him with that because his back was bothering him after too many years of sitting at a desk. So, but that's a problem for years down the road. Really.
They're not there yet. We're at 828 likes and 496 backers. Now we only need 4 people to back the book to get to 500 for tonight.
Well, in all fairness, you have told them that their benefit of backing right now is to name a chicken.
You can just get the book.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can just get the book. You do not have to name a chicken. Bear that in mind.
There's only 6 chickens and 5 ducks. Only 11 people get that perk. Or if they wanted something, they can get the script review by me or have a Zoom call with me. Or I don't know if the Zoom calls with you, I think, are all gone. But
yeah, they are.
Graves has a super chat for $10. Graves says Pinterest is awesome as well. For reference, I agree. Love Pinterest. Love me some Pinterest. Congrats on the Kickstarter. Also, really like the image style and 90s comic in general. Inkers are great.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And that's something that the industry has kind of moved away from that so much, and it's a real shame because a high quality inker, it's a look that you can't replicate on a computer. That said, there are artists that are doing things on the computer that are blowing me away, and they're an incredible look on their own. I think there was a time when computer artists, like artists that work on the computer, and really the job is the same. It's not like it's somehow illegitimate, but there was a time they were really trying to emulate more of a traditional inking style, and I see that a lot of people are going away from that and finding new ways, and I think it's amazing, and it's something I'd like to experiment with actually a little bit. But yeah, and the other thing that I love is how much love 90s Image comics get nowadays, you know? Because there was a time, I remember for a long time, being an Image artist and being known for that was like, you know, you're practically a pariah. People hated it. 90s comics, like it's like a bad word. And I think people really now remember it a lot more fondly than they did for a long time, which I love because it's my favorite.
All right, next super chat comes from Random Pat for $10. Dave, when drawing Spider-Man, can you explain how you make decisions to block out shadow on the blue portion of the costume while keeping it mainly free of blacks on the red portions?
Yeah. So, you know, I've got my figure. Here's my Spider-Man. Okay, so I'm going to draw his head. Here's one eye. Here's the other eye. I wouldn't mind, like I don't mind on the red portion putting a shadow from his head, like or a broad shadow. So I could do that because it really pops the head. But otherwise, my idea is just to leave it completely open. I'm going to light him because of where I put that shadow. It's coming from here. And so, and I like to, because he's got a reflective kind of it's a shinier costume. I like to give it always a bit of like a Fresnel effect. Anyway, it's a side light basically is what it amounts to. So there you go. Poorly done, but that's the effect. And then I know I've got a shadow under his arm here. And so I'm just lighting Spider-Man for his blue portions the way that I would light a much darker, like a heavier lighting situation. Excuse me. And then just leaving it on the other part. So, you know, I could draw that all the way through and it would be fine, but I'm just leaving that open. And then I can give it a little bit of a hit here or maybe like a little bit of detail, but not much because I want to keep it open for the webbing. And that's really all there is to it. It's just a matter of just limiting my shadows. Pretty much always make his crotch dark. I really think it, you know, could be a mistake trying to detail too much in that area. It's not an area you want to draw attention to on a hero. It can be a little awkward.
I'm laughing so hard right now because Eric just sent me a GIF.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. And he says, only 2 more backers needed. And there's the little kitten going. Eric's so funny. So only 2 more backers, people, and then we get our 500 for the first week.
I think we're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there before 10. I know we are.
I think
The
so.
flock never lets us down.
Come
and
on.
we only need 130 people.
The flock is.
I always put it out there, and it always happens.
Yeah. Well.
We have the greatest community in comics. We do. We just do.
Yeah. Well.
We have the greatest comic book community. Everybody's jealous of us. They all love our flock because we're so positive.
Yeah. Everybody's jealous of us. This sounds very positive. Thank you.
Stop. I'm saying that as a joke. You're so serious. I'm you know, giving props to the flock.
Okay.
I'm not taking down anybody else.
Go.
I'm not intending to.
All right.
Just like saying we've got an awesome flock.
And you know, I also want to point out too.
So sensitive.
When I was,
199.
yeah, look at that. One away. When I was learning how to draw, I was dead broke. So, you know, if that's you, it's okay.
We've all been there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. I've got to scroll up. I lost some of my. I ran a pat. There we go. Next one is Johnny D for $10. Johnny says, "Hey Dave, Guts is looking really good. Last time I drew him was in his full Berzerk armor. While I was watching, I was also drawing, but Julie Bell's art. I hope you can do an art study of her. You love Julie Bell."
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That would actually be very interesting to do. And I have not drawn a female character it's been too long. When's the last one that I did? It's been too long. So I think the last one that I did was Raven.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm happy birthday.
Oh. We'll all just wait for you. That's
Okay,
okay.
thanks. That's well, you will wait for me as I do that. So snarky. Tagamo Model Works has a super chat for $5. Good to see you guys as always. Thanks for everything. Looking forward to getting my book because I've seen them all drawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you very much, Tagmo. Yeah.
Oh, ding, 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 ding. I think this is. I hope this is applause.
We have an applause one.
We're at 500. I hope it's not the car crash. I hope I'm on the.
Please.
If it's a car crash, I know my headphones on tonight, so I hope that was applause. 502. Now
Wow.
it's just flying.
Thank
Now,
you very
right?
much,
You guys
everybody.
are the best. 888 people liking the stream. All right, and Tag, thank you for getting the book and for always being here every week, week after week. I think Tag's been here from the beginning. Story by Osmosis has a super chat for $10. Hey, David Meredith, just wanted to say thank you for walking through hatching. I sent Meredith a Facebook message with my Wolverine sketch, practicing Dave's advice. I'm really happy with progress. I do have it right here.
Well, show me when you got it open.
Here it is.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you for the super chat, Aaron.
Yeah, it's coming along. It's very detailed. It's very, very organic looking too. That's awesome. Can you guys see that? It might like I'm looking at it. I don't know if anybody can even see it, but yeah, very cool. Thank you so much.
I have a feeling Artsy Bible Nerd just bought a chicken because he says, I will name the chicken Cutlet. So funny.
The problem is that,
We could have, I can
the
remember.
problem is that we actually call them by their name.
I can call him. I can call
So-
him. Come on, Cutlet. Come on, Cuddy. Get a little Cutlet. Come on, chicken Cutlet.
And I just want to say my defense. Is there a defense? There's no defense.
There's no
Whatever. I
defense.
never thought I'd be calling a chicken by name. I gotta say that. Not a million years. But man, they're cuter than you think.
Oh, they are, especially when you get them young, little chicks, and you see them grow.
Yeah.
Nick from Detroit has a suggestion of $1,000 tier. Meredith will come to your house with a karaoke machine.
How much do you have to pay? You'd have to pay.
$1,000.
I mean, you would have to
I
pay
might have to pay
$1,000 to do
somebody
that.
$1,000 for that. Joshua Franco has a super chat for $5. Amazing work on the Moon Knight issue 2 variant. Your run with Houston will always be my fave.
Oh, thank you very much. I miss it.
You love Moon Knight.
Yeah, that's one of those times. I told you guys before. I ended up fighting with Charlie Houston over what we were doing with the book, and I was mad. I know he was mad. We have not talked since, which is the worst. But yeah, looking back, there are the times I think, man, I should have just called him back and said, "Hey, let's just talk about it," because it was a book that it's a shame to walk away from. But when you're young, I've had other books that I've walked away from and then regretted it later on.
It happens.
It does,
Okay.
unfortunately.
We're 92 away from 1,000 likes tonight.
Wow.
And we're 504 backers now. Flying.
Crazy.
Kelvin Gordon has a super chat for $4.99. Hey, Dave and Meredith. Been a while since I sent a super chat. Do you think circles or squares help more with drawing torsos? I switch around. Thanks for the super chat, Kelvin.
Let me try. Because I'm going to tell you that I don't know that I so much use either. I always use, would be my vest. This is the basic shape. And because I'm a comic artist, I really should be drawing something more like this. So here's my shoulder hole. Here would be my head hole. And it'd be something more like this. But I'm always looking up at the chest because it's a superhero. So it's like my default. Anyway, drawn as a square, what I would end up doing is the only thing I could think of is to do something like this. Or or just use like straight lines. It's interesting. I would not think of it this way. I will say there are times when I'm really, really struggling with a figure, like I'm just fighting with it. I'll actually break down, and it's like in my head, you have a really complex shape, and then it's like I can break it down to something that's less complex. So it's just the simple shapes that make it up, losing the detail. And then I can break it down further so that it really is just like simple tubes or even simple squares if I'm really, really fighting. Like I can draw a tube for a leg like this. And if I'm really struggling, and I've done it, and it's rare, but every once in a while, I just find because it's not working for me, and I don't know why, I'll just stop and just do this just to try something, just to try and break me out of whatever's not working with the picture. So it happens. Very rare though. I don't know. To me, I don't think squares are ideal for organic shapes, but I'd be very curious to see how you're using them. Like I don't want to say, oh, I think that's wrong, because I don't know how it is, and also my opinion is that whatever works for you to get the result in the end, because all these shapes are just ciphers for a more complex form that we're ultimately drawing. And so if you have a shape that makes it more effective for you to get to that complex form, then that's the right shape. It really doesn't matter what it is.
All right. SCS Powerlifting is in. You just backed David Finch, Monday Night Raw, Season 1 Hot Book.
Thank you so much, SCS. Really appreciate it.
And Tagmo Model Works as a super chat for $5. Tag says, "You're right, Meredith. We are so flocking awesome." Pulled the mic away from my mouth a little bit when I did that. Carl Johan has a super chat for 10, but I don't see a comment, Carl. So tag me, tag me in that, like @ and then Meredith Finch, so that I can see what your question or comment was. Amy Morris is like, "Mary Death, we back the blockers. Go Finch flockers."
Thank you, Amy and Tom. We didn't show.
Finch flock is the best, says Super Sonico. And
Amy.
maybe Dan D, am I backer 500? You might be. You might be. You'll know. I think it says backer number. I don't have access to that, so I can't tell. But Russ Hicks says, "One book away from 40,000 and a hardcover." Did we get there? I can't tell because mine only shows in Canadian dollars. So I hope we got there, that we got to the hardcover. I hope we got it. It's past now. That means we got it. You guys got the hardcover. Wayne Blackman has a super chat for $5. "Hey guys, I just got off work and I just wanted to send my love and support. And yes, I got my copy of Monday Night Draw. Thanks, Wayne."
Thank you so much, Wayne.
Art9 says, "Why so serious, Dave Finch?"
Am I being serious?
He is serious tonight, isn't he? You're not picking up my, it's Monday night vibe. You got your new Harley Davidson shirt on. You're stripping. You took your sweater off. You're busting the grind right now.
Feeling the pressure.
I guess so.
Like I want this one to actually, you know what? I think I am being kind of serious because I do want this one to turn out.
Turn. Somebody on the flock said, "You spelled the name wrong. Now nobody who likes Berzerk is going to see it."
I know.
Can you change it?
I can, and I will tomorrow.
He'll change it tomorrow.
But
even though it's going to mess with his metrics, and he really hates messing with his metrics.
It doesn't actually. Changing
Okay.
the name doesn't do that.
All right, fair enough.
No problem to do that.
Well, good. Good. All right. Ross H. Pham has a super chat for $4.99. "How do you get to become a comic book artist? Right now, I have the challenge to do this biggest portrait I've ever worked on and did it for 50 hours.
That is a long time.
That is a long time.
How does one become a comic artist?
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of different ways. And, it's such a pat answer. Ask 100 different people and they'll tell you 100 different things. And sure, that's true. There are a lot of ways, but generally speaking, the ways kind of break down to a couple of different methods. Number one, it's who you know. that is a way to get jobs. And I hate to say that it is, but it is, and it can happen. Now, that happens more for writers, in my opinion, than artists, because as an artist, you need to be able to do the work. And so it's very difficult to get away with not being that good and being successful as an artist. I think it can be easier as a writer, but even then, it's a very difficult thing to, and it's something that really it used to be very common in the 70s, 80s. You'd have like a friend of an editor or whatever. They don't really do it that way anymore. So, but who it does make a difference. Like when people are looking for somebody for a job, the first thing they're going to think of is, what artist can I think of that's going to be really good for this? And then they'll contact them first. And if that doesn't work out, then you start searching. So that's a factor. The next thing is your marketability. And by that, I mean, you need to be talented. You need to be able to show that you have the skills, you can tell the story, you can do the anatomy, you have all of the basic skills that an artist needs. But very importantly, you need to at least have the perception from an editor that you can sell. Now, that's something you can prove as you get established. Some artists sell more than others, and that's going to affect how much money you make, in the projects you get. And that's just how it is. But to start, it is much easier to start working in a more of a mainstream style. And if you want to experiment, then growing from there is probably a little more effective than being really, really out there and trying to get work, because editors tend to be very risk averse. So you do have to worry about your influences and the kind of work that you're trying to do. You want to make sure that you're showing them work that looks like the kind of work that they know they can market. So that's a factor. And then the other big factor is you need to show your work, and you'll be doing that at conventions. You'll be doing it online, and you'll communicate with them. And while artists, they don't look for education or a resume, they only care about the work, but that's only kind of mostly true. They also want to know that they can work with you and that you'll listen to them and take their direction. And if you show them that you don't take direction well, they will shut it down before it starts. And one other factor, and I hate to say this, but it is true. I'm not going to say that they're going to mine your social media to find out everything about you, but if you have a history of saying things publicly that could get them in trouble or make them look bad, that makes it very difficult to get work. So you really do have to be aware of your social media presence.
Thank you, David. That was great. All great advice. Greg L. Static Art has a super chat for $1.99. Greg says, great eye tutorial. Any chance you'll revisit legs soon?
Yeah, I have more that I'd like to say about it. And it's one of those videos. I'm happy with that video, but I can only ever get across so much at the time. And I'm also kind of adapting how I'm trying to show some of this stuff. So yes. Next, though, I've already promised I'm going to do noses, because the amount of requests I got for noses, I couldn't believe it. I thought, who cares? That wouldn't be a popular thing. But it is with you guys, at least according to the comments. So I'm going to do noses next. And that also, like, a lot of times I feel like I'm reading tea leaves to know what you guys want, Like I try to follow what you guys are saying and your interests, and because I want to put out videos and stuff that you guys are going to like, and that you'll get value from. But it can be difficult to know at times. So noses. And if it does poorly, honestly, if it does poorly, it does poorly. I had so many people ask that are, people that I really value in the community. And if it works for them, that's good enough.
All right. Next super chat comes from Mike Stewart for $5. Mike wants to know, can we eat the chicken? No, no, you cannot eat the chicken, Mike. They're my hens. They're my egg layers. These are my laying hens, my girls.
Yeah, these ones will be with us for a long time.
If you're in Amherstburg, you can swing by and I'll give you some eggs. How about that?
Yeah, we are literally going to be selling eggs on the side of the road.
We are going to be.
Like actually for real. We're going to be doing that.
Hopefully this summer.
And I'm like,
Hopefully we'll have enough.
how did we get here?
Woo, woo, Danny D, the 400K mark has been met. So excited.
What's been what?
The 400K. So that means everybody gets a hardcover, or the hardcover is available now.
Oh,
That's the stretch goal. Waiter Shush. Waiter Shush. Yes. Hater has a super chat for $5. Just saying hello from Singapore once again. D&M, loving the usual good vibes from the stream and the flock. Learning a lot, as always. Hater.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hater. Good to see you this week. Carlos Turalba says, woo, this look amazing. It does look amazing. That's why you're so focused. You're like,
I'm just, a part of it is, yeah.
You're intense.
I can sit and draw and talk, but when I'm really kind of into it, it does get harder. And I'm actually really enjoying this.
Johnny D says, Meredith, tell Dave, you want to know how I got my scars?
Who says this?
Johnny D.
How did Johnny D get his scars?
No, how I got my scars. I'm supposed to say that to you.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I'm going to beat you up. You're so like intense tonight.
I don't.
How did, or maybe he means how Guts got his scar. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's 9:30. I'm doing quite well for 9:30. I'm
You
like,
actually, you really are.
can't even complain. Oh, Greg, I did not miss your super chat. I got it. I circled back. Andrew Gaveret has a super chat for 99 cents. But Andrew, I don't see a question. I always feel badly when that happens.
But thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you for your super chat. I can hear the cats. We locked them out of the basement. I can hear them running around upstairs like crazy people.
Well, one of the cats has been.
He's banned from the basement.
So our oldest, he's got his little, buddy hangout area, and they've got a bed because they keep sleeping over, and the cat's been peeing on their bed. Not ideal.
He wants to be one of the guys.
That's one of the guys. That's what you do. You pee on the bed.
I guess the cat thinks. Jim Klein, he's like, oh, you boys want to be down here? I'm going to mark my territory too.
Yeah.
Jim, I gave him a bin to put all the stuff in. Jim Klein has a super chat for $10. Hey, DNM, had to join late. I was curious.
Uh-oh.
Is a t-shirt for the Kickstarter the Finch Flock logo shirt or another design?
It's the same design, not distressed, with a Monday Night Draw on the back of the shirt. So it's a different design, but it's similar.
And he says, also, I'm really digging how the shadows are pushing the cape back on this piece.
Thank you. I haven't looked up I don't know how it's looking.
Story by Osmosis. Oh, Leon Leclerc says, feet. We want feet.
He's got
Oh,
he's got feet.
for tutorials.
Oh.
Story by Osmosis says, I meant to add last week, Daniel Warren Johnson would be a great team up. He shares a lot in common with Dave's personality and taste.
All right.
And we're at 1,000 likes. Woo, woo. Because we have the best flock in the house.
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought it would be a lot of fun to draw Guts. And I was looking forward to it. I didn't know that it would be so popular.
And we have 508 backers. We're almost at 510. Whew, crazy. It's a cool character. Long Journeys is a super chat for $2. I'd love to see your version of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, me too. Maybe next week. I have so many that I promised. I would like to draw the Ninja Turtles. I have drawn them a couple of times, and they're always a lot of fun.
Allison says, I just heard my style isn't mainstream, so I won't get hired.
Now,
there's always a book for every art style.
Look,
first of all,
it depends on what you want to do too, because mainstream will make you unhireable for some books. Writers that are writing something like Meredith with your Book of Ruth and the book that you're working on right now, Colin is an incredible artist, but I would not call him a mainstream artist.
That's
and
what I wanted about it.
that's right. And you'll see a lot of artists get worse. So, it's unfair for me to say that, but I keep thinking like breaking into Marvel and DC and breaking like the kind of career that I had, which obviously is not everyone and not what everybody wants, but it's hard to not filter things through your own lens. So yeah, Allison, it is true. If you want to work for Marvel
so
and
many
DC,
more publishers.
That's right.
So many more ways to get published.
If you want to work for Marvel and DC and what I consider to be that mainstream, then having a style that they're known for, it makes things infinitely easier. But there are so many different options and opportunities out there. But you do need to fit in some kind of a box. Like they need to be able to say, okay, you're an artist that would pull off this kind of a book well. So you need to have some kind of artistic identity.
All right. Random Pat has a super chat for $2. Random Pat wants to know, what are some of your favorite comic storylines? Give me your top two.
It's very difficult. Okay. Weapon X, Barry Windsor Smith, is one of my all-time favorites, and it's hard to just like narrow it down to The Authority by Mark Millar is totally one of my favorite stories. It's such a fun read. That was great. So there you go, top two. I don't know if that's my top two, but it's top two I'm thinking of right now.
Perfect.
Sin City. I mean, Batman: The Dark Knight. So much Frank Miller stuff. Like, yeah, there's just so much. It makes it a little difficult.
And Johnny D's comment was in reference to a Batman reference. When Dave asked why so serious, I just couldn't resist. It's from a Batman story.
Yes. Yeah, it's actually from the movie with Joker.
Oh, there you go.
Heath Ledger.
Okay, ask me about my scars. There you go.
Stuff just goes over our head. You have to know that.
We do often. WarBXO Kurdistan says that cat is a troll. Everett agrees with you. That cat is a troll. My mom, Danny D says, my mom lets cats destroy the house. Not a huge cat lover anymore. Yeah, Stormy is banned from the basement right now.
Yeah, and you'll have more luck disciplining a dog than you will a cat.
Yeah, cats don't care.
They do not care.
They don't care. Although I'm gonna get like a little. Apparently, you can get like a scent, like a aromatic scent plug-in that will make them happier in the space. That can help that. And then I did tell Everett, spray it with the cat deurinizer, and that will help too.
Yeah. And
I said, then finally I said, pick your crap up off the floor.
Yeah, that is
that also will probably help. So Alan De Leon has a super chat, another super chat for $5. OMG, dude, that guts is looking amazing.
You're yelling.
I moved the microphone away from my mouth.
Thank you so much, Alan.
One question.
Yes.
What do you think about Peacemaker?
I like Peacemaker very much. I don't know what we're talking about.
Is it a character?
Yeah, obviously. And I'm not sure if it's going to be like, it's a character that I know and someone's going to say, this is what it is. I'm going to say, oh yeah. Or if it's something that I just haven't read. The problem is my manga reading is not, as thorough as it could be. And I'm not sure if it's manga or not.
Oh, Andrew, that's Atomic Arts Wolverine that we just looked at.
Yeah. Yeah, he's under a different username.
I was under a different username tonight.
I know. I complained too.
Totally confused me, Tomic.
I complained about that before the stream even started.
Why, Tomic? Thank you. Dave knew, but I didn't. Goofball. Kids these days. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure I don't miss anybody. 'Cause I'm gonna miss somebody. Always happens. Johnny D is a super chat for $5. I heard Chris Claremont wanted Apocalypse to be responsible for Wolverine's adamantium, but Barry Windsor beat him to it with Marvel Presents.
No kidding. You know, I mean, Apocalypse was kind of the big villain around the time when that was happening. Actually, just last week, I showed some X Factor where Apocalypse was kind of the big villain. One of my favorites because of that series. So yeah, very interesting. There's another story. You talk about my favorite stories. Phoenix Saga by Chris Claremont.
Peacemaker is a show on HBO. It's a character from Suicide Squad, and it's John Cena.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No. Is it good?
I don't know. Is it good? Let's ask the flock. Rike Inglaze 123 says, Meredith Finch, if I take the 123 out of my name, will you still recognize me? Yes, but Tomic was under a different name.
Who said that?
Rike Inglaze 123.
I was just going to say, I don't even know
Maybe
who that
he'll be
is.
4,
and
5,
then
6.
Wait for you to say 1, 2, 3.
Did you, Rafe? Is that what you're doing? Like, seriously?
Yeah, the joke didn't work out.
Did not.
This is why I stay serious.
Peace. JDSCT. Peacemaker is great. Duff Pappy. Peacemaker is excellent.
Yeah, all right.
Keiko Demon. It's good. Vic Rask. Rax. I'm loving the Peacemaker show. Might get into his recent Suicide Squad books.
What is that on?
HBO.
HBO. Do we have HBO?
No, but we might be able to get it on Prime or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find a way to get it.
That would explain why I haven't seen it.
That would explain it.
So we have most
We
things.
know
We really
nothing
do.
about it. That is why.
We have Amazon, so I could watch Invincible.
Yep. Did get that. Artsy Bible Nerd also liked the Dark Phoenix saga. 9:47, Dave. What's the time?
I got a decent amount of time on this one. I gotta be honest with you.
What do you mean, like not 10 minutes?
20 minutes.
So 10 after 10.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm gonna do a little soft shoe, a little tap dance. Can we get to 510 backers, do you think? By the end of tonight?
Look at that. It's never good enough.
It's always good enough. But like if you just accepted and you never set a goal or an aspiration or a dream, what's the point?
Well, this is why I'm not in sales.
That's why you would never be a comic artist if you just settled.
You know what?
You all would look and go, oh, I could do more.
I would not have been a comic artist if I had to sell my art. Like if I had to, directly say, hey, buy my book. Like it's so hard for me to do that.
We only need 2 people. 2 more backers would take us to 510.
Yeah, we might get there.
I think we would get there in 20 minutes.
All right.
I believe it.
All right.
I don't believe I can fly. And that song is in my head right now. But just saying. Just saying. All right. I'm out of tea.
It's not going to go like this for 20 minutes, right?
It might go like this for 20 minutes. I can't sing the Song of Music soundtrack because I'll get copyright strike. James Gunn is behind Peacemaker if that moves the needle at all, says John D. Harvey. Oh, Russ Hicks is watching Reacher, which
That I want to see.
we want to see.
I've read every single Reacher book.
I haven't read every single Reacher book, but I've read a Reacher book or 2.
Yeah, no, I've read them all.
And he says, finally an actor big enough to be Jack Reacher in film.
Look, I like Tom Cruise. I know not everybody does. Whatever, I like him. I think not necessarily the ideal choice. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. What's that one on? See, I don't know.
Prime.
Prime. I have
We can
Prime.
watch it tonight if we want.
Yep.
Well, no, we can't. We'll watch it tomorrow because I'll fall asleep tonight.
Yeah, and you want to watch it.
Yeah, I want to watch it too. Wilf Seward says, "Hell yeah, I actually caught your show. This is awesome. Thanks, Dave."
Thank you so much, Wilf.
All right. Reacher Greg Hal Art says Reacher's awesome. Allison says Reacher was amazing. So there we go.
So they did it right.
They
Well,
did
that's
it right.
great. Yeah, I mean, they're such great books. The last Reacher book was written by Lee Child, and I think his son. I'm not sure, but anyway, it was like co-written, and I didn't like it as much. But
We're at 1.1K, Dave.
that's
Right.
crazy.
1.1 likes. 1.1. One. There you go. Jim Klein has a super chat for $10. Jim wants to know, have you ever gotten to work on a prestige book similar to the Marvel graphic novel series Think God Loves Man Kills? Think I don't know that title, so I'm probably butchered that. Or Silver Surfer Parable. Think God Loves Man Kills or Silver Surfer Parable. And if so, do you approach it differently?
I never have. My time at Marvel and really my time at DC has been drawing mainstream, X-Men, Avengers, Batman, that kind of stuff. And yeah, such is my fate. I mean, my son is a huge fan of Marvel Zombies, and I mean, it's ridiculous. He keeps complaining that I didn't draw Marvel Zombies. Why didn't you draw that? Well, first of all, the artist that they had doing it was incredible. So, that's a factor. But also, at the time I was doing Avengers, it was doing really well. It was a big book. We were number one. So, cut me some slack, man.
Tomic says, Meredith, I'm writing a college course essay on you. Any tips? And he says, I'm going to try to use one account. No worries. Are you actually writing a college course essay on me, Tomic? I mean, I don't know what I would say for tips. If you want to email me or message me on Facebook, I can give you extra details that aren't. I'll even read it for you.
Email me. I'll give you some details.
Dave will give the dirty deets.
I got a few things I could get off my chest.
Everett could provide a photo that people would be like, oh my gosh, that's her. It was such a bad photo that my girlfriend saw and was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a high school picture, and it's something.
Something to see. Something to behold. Something to behold. Hey, I'm like wine. Fine wine. I get better with age. I'll happily do an interview for you, Tomic. If you have any questions, I can fill in some details for your essay. God Loves Man Kills. That's what it's called. Thank you. I think it was the think part that caught me. Chris Claremont wrote that one.
I've heard of it.
I wonder if I would like it. I like Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, you've talked to him, right?
Yep.
I managed to talk to him a lot, actually. I don't know where I was, Kansas or somewhere.
Yeah, we were together.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay.
we were Kansas. No, small town though. Like
Yeah,
it was a small show.
So yeah, none of us were really all that busy. So I got literally whole synopsis breakdowns of some of the things that he wanted to do with some of the books that he was not able to do because we're just talking, and he is,
Once he starts talking, he's like, it's like a pull toy.
Well, and look, he is like a
He
natural
just-
comic writer. He's passionate about
Yeah,
it
he
in a
really
way
is.
that not everyone is. And so, yeah, it's what he lives and breathes. And it is really amazing to hear some of the stories that he has. It was very, very cool. Did you just say he's like a pull toy? You're gonna be kidding me.
No, like you're so sensitive tonight. I mean, like he goes and goes and goes. Like once you just like pull the string, and he's like once you start him talking, he has like so much to say. I'm not saying he's not interesting to listen to, because that's like, I love talking to people like that. He has so much to say, but you're so sensitive tonight. My goodness, I don't think I'm offending anybody. If I am, then I'm very sorry that I've offended people. Apparently, I'm offensive tonight. Unintentionally offensive, but according to David,
Look,
offensive.
you could say that I'm just being sensitive, but I don't know about that. I don't know.
Oh, James Larget and Gabby H say that we're at 509. 509 backers.
Almost to 510.
Almost 510. So close. So close.
Where are we for time?
9:56.
9:56. I'm actually doing pretty well.
Are you? All right.
Well, I'm still using my thicker pen, so I want to get a little bit more detail in before I finish. That's why I'm saying I know it's going to take a little longer. I'm trying to finish this one as quick as I can so I can move on to the detail. I know this is detail, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. It's all detail. It's just like refining detail.
Yeah, like in his
Detail
face,
refined.
there's a couple of things that I want to do. Some stuff.
All right. There you go. Do. Oh, my eye's burning. All right, I'm just gonna scroll back through the chat. My screen is like just blippy tonight. Detective Payne. Hello, David Meredith. Big fan of you. I have a question. Do you like Dragon Ball? And if you do, would you make a drawing of Goku or any other character in the future? You're the best, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I mean, Dragon Ball's been around for a long time, and it definitely had a good period around this house with Isaac, our youngest. He's a big fan, so yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun to do. I've watched a lot. I mean, by that metric, I really should be doing a Thomas the Tank Engine picture. Watch more Thomas the Tank Engine than anything else in my life.
That's the truth. So much Thomas. This couch kills me.
I'm working as quick as I can.
I know you.
You're falling apart.
I did say 10 o'clock is my I'm just passing out at 10.
Yeah.
Don't forget to post this on Instagram, please, David.
Okay, you know what? I actually have a cover that I have about 20 minutes on. It's terrible, but I didn't quite finish. So I'm going to finish that. And while I do that, I'm going to scan this and I'll get it up on Instagram. So yeah, I'll make sure. And I actually have last week's that I still haven't posted. So I'll get that one up too.
Justin Bino has a question. How many types of pens do you usually use on a drawing?
I use 4 if you count the white. So I use Micron 01, which I really like. It's a pretty small size. It's very difficult to see, but it's I'll just show you. It gives me a nice thin, even line, and I'm going to be using this just a bit in a few minutes, just to finish out some of the detail. So that's my finest one. I start my picture with that and the reason I do it is I can get my whole picture drawn in with ink, so I'm not having to pencil, which takes more time to have to do it twice. And then I can use my Uniposca white pen. I've had people complain that these are not that great because they don't cover as well as people would like. That can be true, but it dries like paint. You can go over it 5 times and you can still work. I can use these kinds of pens, generally speaking, whiteout, they'll cut right through and it's a problem. But over this stuff, I can use all of my inking tools. So that's really kind of my method. And then I use, this is a Fununasuki Tombow. Fununasuki, I don't know what that means, but it's a Tombow. This is a brush pen. This is the hard tip. And it's not hard, but it's harder than their soft tip. And I don't like the soft tip because it's hard for me to control. And then this is my Pentel brush pen. And these are just refills. If you type in Pentel brush pen, you'll find these. It's a pretty common thing. I got it on Amazon. Actually, all these things I got it on Amazon. I really like Molotow pens, more than Microns probably, but I can't get Molotow pens on Amazon, and we live, we're here in Canada. It's very difficult to get a lot of things. Now, Canada wouldn't be a problem if we lived in Toronto, but we don't. So I get what I can get easily online.
Matt Canty says, the way Mayor tells a joke and then Dave glances at the camera just warms my heart. Love you guys so much. Oh, you're a good straight man, Dave.
Yeah. Well,
that's really how you're feeling, right?
You put me in a position sometimes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just talking. Talking. Dave's penwidths, Josh Went says, Dave's penwidths are measured in Meredith's sleepiness.
It's actually, yeah.
On Mondays, it certainly is.
That is totally true. On this one, she's more sleepy than she was on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once we get to the last one, she's going to be completely dead, and we'll just have a quiet stream.
That's right. You guys didn't know I was
one of these times. See, I've always got Eric. Just bring it while you're sleeping. I'll bring Eric in, and he can help out for a bit.
Oh yeah, Eric always loves it. There's nothing Eric likes more than when you spring on him suddenly that he needs to be on the stream.
Yes, but did you guys see the book of the week that Eric had 2 weeks ago?
He did have a good one.
Oh, I love that. That was such a great book, and I don't have it. I need to get it.
Oh, Sheldon Martin says the Microns and Tombos are sold at Walmart and Target in the States.
We don't have a Target. We used to, but it closed for whatever reason. They actually opened a bunch in Canada. They all closed at the same time. So I guess it was a failed experiment. We do have Walmart, though, and maybe they have them.
It's all different. They have more stuff.
Yeah.
They just have a broader variety of stuff.
Yeah.
And Russ Hicks, thank you for posting. For those looking for Dave's brush pen, search for Pentel Fine Tip XFP food pen battery on Amazon. Tombow, he's got the whole thing there.
Yes, thank you very much.
Because Russ is awesome. We always leave Russ out, but he also moderates here along with Eric.
That's right.
Out.
Yeah.
Poor Russ, the silent, hardworking, unappreciated. We love you, Russ. Don't you worry. We love you. Johnny D says, Merritt, don't count sheep yet. Random Pat has a super chat for $5. For the next Monday Night Draw, would you draw Carnage? I'd love to see your take on the grotesque skinny monster forms. Best regard. I love you guys. Love how I buy you water, like water for you, but the boys take water for you.
Just walks in here and grabs it.
Takes it. Just whatever.
My favorite part is how they just open the door and walk right in.
Yeah, well.
All right. See, right there, that coverage is terrible. But I know I can just put another layer on it. It'll be fine. All right. Small pen.
What did you say about Carnage?
Carnage. I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, I would totally do Carnage.
We don't know what it's going to be yet, though.
Yeah.
He did a female character for, he did one, the George Perez Raven one.
Yeah, that's right. So I do think I'm due to do a female character. So I think that will be next time. I also have Pitt that I have been promising for Lance Du Bois
Yeah,
for
that's true.
ages, and I
I feel
haven't
like
done
Pitt
it.
would have to be.
Yeah, probably, because
Eric says he'll gladly come on as needed, and I also have a few more awesome book of the week recommendations.
oh, nice.
There you go.
Eric, you're on for next week.
There you go. Eric's got the book of the week for next week. Kinma Nick says, I live in Ontario and my Walmart has nothing for art supplies. Same here, Kinma. Same here. Kinma, I think is that. Kinma.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough thing about living in a, not big city.
Raga V is here. Hey, Dave Mara joined late, but glad to catch a stream.
Just now? Well, good
Yeah.
to see you here. That's definitely late.
And honestly, poor Ragav. I was supposed to send something out today, but I didn't make it. Oh no, I forgot. I forgot it, but that's okay because you were supposed to do something too. So it'll go out tomorrow. I promise. Tomorrow. I have to go into town anyway tomorrow. I have to take Isaac to an appointment. Jerry Orasco has a super chat for $5. You need a Kickstarter tier where someone can guest host Book of the Week on a Monday Night Draw stream. There you go. It is. We should put a tier next week that has something to do with like somebody getting a spot on Monday Night Draw.
Okay.
Have we talked about this?
We have actually talked about some things like that. I am not going to talk about it though, because I want to save that for next week.
Okay. You're not going to talk about what you're going to do. You're saving it for next week.
Yes.
Okay. That's not a no. It's not a yes, but it's not a no. That's what Isaac would say.
Oh man, we're
Then
such
he would ask.
pushover.
He would just run with it like it was a yes.
Yes, because he knows we're pushovers enough that we'll just end up
That's
caving.
true. We are. Well, that's what happens when you're child number 3. People are worn out.
And he's pretty cute.
Cute only gets you so far.
It's gotten pretty far.
Well, he's 13 now. How cute can you be?
Yeah,
Greg L. Static Art has a super chat for $1.99. Great stream idea. Omega Red.
Oh yeah, that would be a lot of fun. That would be fun. Omega Red. You guys know Omega Red from X-Men. I think the first time he was ever drawn was by Jim Lee. Pretty sure.
We're one backer. We're not going to make it. We're going to end the night at 5:09.
I think we did just fine.
We did.
Because I am almost done.
Are you?
Yeah.
We ended at 5:09 and 1,200 likes.
Yeah.
More than 1,200 likes.
That's
That's pretty awesome.
I can always feel when the energy starts to
Even
drain
though-
out of the room. People only have so much time they're willing to sit and watch. So,
Even though you spelled Berzerk wrong, people still found it.
well, people love Kentaro Miura.
Dave does not do dad jokes. Accidental Genius wants to know, does Dave do dad jokes? No. He does not tell jokes.
No.
And the sound of the door opening, Matt Canty wanted to know if that was a cat meowing, then it needs to quit the cigars and whiskey. That was Dave's squeaky door.
That was the kid coming to steal my water.
Yeah, stealing his water.
All right. Just a little bit more, Meredith. I'm almost done.
Oh, no.
2 minutes.
Where does it say where the stretch goals are for the Kickstarter book? I don't know. Truthfully. Does it say? Let me go to the Kickstarter page. Under the campaign, does it say it? Story stretch goal. Oh, it says on the main campaign page. It says the stretch goals. So the stretch goals 6,500. Everybody gets a free 4x6 print. 30,000 content unlock. We'll add another 5 pages of content to the book. I think we hit that one.
40,000 hardcover stretch goal. We hit that one tonight. 45,000 Finch pin for all. Every tier over $20 gets a free Finch pin. That would be awesome. That's the next goal we got to hit.
We have it all designed too.
Oh, the pin is fabulous. I love the pin. Love it. So that's what the stretch goals are. Pretty good stretch goals. I like the stretch goals.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to wrap that up there.
Oh, one more super chat. One more? Is that right? Just one more from Jim. That's right. From Jim Klein for $10. Since you're posting stuff to Instagram, any chance you'd be able to upload the stuff from the 2000K stream? I'd like to get a better look at the squirrel girl picture. Did you scan it?
I don't have it. I'm so sorry. You know what? Maybe I do, and I'm wrong, but I don't know that I have it. I'll look. I will try and find it. All right. So yeah,
That's it.
That's it for this one. This one was a lot of fun. It was a little more work. He's got the big sword and he's got a lot of the detail. Also, it's detail that I haven't drawn before, and that can always take a little bit longer, but it's more fun for me. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching. Also, you know, we've been talking about it all night. So
Don't forget the
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
we
if
have a
you haven't
Kickstarter
already.
in case you haven't heard the million times we mentioned it over the course of the stream, but we do, and there's a link in the description. So
Here's the other thing I would say before we head off. Maybe you supported the Kickstarter, but have you shared the Kickstarter? Because you guys are all part of these awesome comic book communities. So maybe your friends pop by on My Night Draw and they're not vocal in the chat, but they like the stream, they like Dave's art. So share. Sharing is caring.
yes, absolutely. All right, everyone, please have a great week. We will
Happy
see you next week.
Monday.
Next video coming up is going to be on noses. I want to tell you that it's going to be coming right up, but I have not done it yet. I'm actually going to be drawing it tomorrow. So I'll have it drawn, edited tomorrow. That I'll give it to Yuri.
Instead of his cover.
I've got 4 more covers that are due. So I'm going to do that as fast as I can tomorrow, get back onto my covers, and I should hopefully have it by the end of the week. So yeah, that's coming up too. And we will see you guys all next week. So yeah.
Have an awesome night.
All right. Good night, everybody.